Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome. Morning, Vanessa. So this does not represent all of the people that helped make the pancake breakfast successful, but it is who I was able to take a picture of. And even that's not the whole picture. So thank you. Cairo, how did it go? All right, Mia. I do have a picture that's coming up that is drawn by her uncle. That is, the starting bid is $200. Please don't let Stephanie be the only one to bid on it, so far in my experience. Mini libraries. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Marty. Let's celebrate Tom, who made all of those. So we just got to show up and first time with a nail gun. First time with a nail gun. Last.
First and last. No.
Yeah, well, the access is limited. I think I'm sitting on one that if somebody wants one, please let me know. AJ, are you sitting on? AJ has one. Does anybody have, Lisa has, and Chris both have one? You have 4.
So, the American Library is trying to figure out homes for them. And I just talked to Carol, and three of the people would love to have one in front of their new building, you know, inside the gate. So we're going to try to gingerbread that one up and get it all set for them. And then another idea was for Taste of the Holidays to get one all fixed up and put it at our silent auction, which would be great to do, or a raffle, I'm sorry, or a raffle.
And then I think John has some ideas for fundraising next year. And
Yeah, so we'll have some homes for sale.
okay. And, oh, please talk to Terry. If you have one that's in front of your house, she will tell you how to register it. So it's on the mini library registry. And Chris has something else to say about it.
Well, the mini libraries are coming along fine. We've got the doors put on, they need to be finished up. And at this point here, somebody gets to take one, they might also have part of the responsibility for the roof on them, to paint it, get it mounted. So a couple more steps there.
My husband had to go for me, and it still needs the door, I think. Like, should I,
We were putting the doors on the other day, so if you have them without a door, let us know. But it still needs to be finished up here at this point. Well on their way, the hard part's done, the pretty part's coming up.
So we've been dark, sort of, for a couple of weeks. But thank you, Jen, for sending me pictures. Are you here?
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a pretty detailed account, I must say.
Well, that's what you took away.
That's the important part.
Where were you? I was at the wine fest. That's always a great fundraiser to go support a game club. I didn't invent to get a picture with, there's definitely more of us there, but by the time I remembered, like, oh, we should probably get a picture. That's the remaining one. It was really fun though.
We were the ones that stayed to the bitter end. That's so. It's also kind of empty.
All right, John. Also, Fireside's happened. And this is him at a cake concert. Thanks, Jeff, for capturing the moment. You're processing your...
Yeah, Fireside. So thank you to everybody who participated in Fireside's and survey.
Scott's not on there.
Let me know if you weren't able to attend the Fireside and you'd like one. I may put together another.
Don't be afraid.
Zoomers can't hear you.
Back to the...
For people who didn't make the other ones. If you're interested in a Fireside, let me know and we'll set up another one. So, or if you're interested in having some input and letting me know what you'd like to see us doing next year, give me a call, send me an email. Yeah, let me know. Oh, August 26th, 2023, the first inaugural, because you're not supposed to call it annual until the second one, Arcata Rotary and Arcata Sunrise Rotary joint kickball tournament will take place in Blue Lake,
Let's work on the name.
Perigo Park, and the Little League Field. We're going to be recruiting 8 teams, inviting them out to Blue Lake to play kickball, with added features such as being able to rent ringers. So if somebody doesn't want to break a hip, you can pay money to have somebody else run for you. There will be coffee in the morning and beer in the afternoon.
What time?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I thought you said what kind, and I don't know what kind of beer it'll be.
I want to know what time the beer will be.
Daytime.
I think
I
the
don't
beer
know.
will be there when the coffee is there, so
Yeah,
make your choices.
26th, right?
Yeah.
August 26th, the Saturday.
Just clear out your Saturday.
Yeah, August 26th. If you're, think about whether you're interested in playing on a team or want to help sell things to people. This year, what we're looking at is getting the event going as a perpetual thing between the two clubs and not necessarily bringing in a whole lot of money. So we're gonna work on the entry fees and prices and all of that to make
We're
sure we get
raising
enough
money,
people
though.
there. We are raising money.
Thanks.
And we're gonna split the money with Arcata Noon, and we'll be picking a couple of deserving projects to name in the poster, but that's down the road a bit.
Cool. Thanks. So we have everybody seated. Let's go around. And we have visiting Rotarians or guests.
We have our guest speaker today. This is Marnie Atkins from the Wiyot Tribe, and she'll be sharing a lot about the cultural center and things going on in the cultural department. So,
hello, everyone. We are representing the Entrepreneurs Club of Arcata, letting you know that you all have an extra resource just downstairs in the Arcata Main Street office. We meet up once a month and help our community find the resources that we have and solve all of our problems. Yeah, kind of like what you guys do. Like, we're ramping up too. So we're here to support you. Come find us and answer some questions. We have really cool housing ideas that we are doing and taking action on too. So.
And when are you open?
Every first Monday of the month, between 4 to 5 is when we meet. You can call me anytime.
And this is our window.
Cairo and Cody.
Hi, I'm Cairo. I'm from the Outbound Exchange.
Hello, everybody.
Where are you going, Cairo?
What?
Where are you going?
Sweden.
All right.
Vanessa, we have 2 other guests.
Pardon? I'm sorry.
I'm Miriam. I'm from Interact, but I'm also an Outbound Exchange student for the Santa Rosa Clubs.
And where are you going?
I'm going to Paraguay.
No, please.
So I'd like to introduce Gillian Martin and her mother Kate. And Bob will talk more about Gillian later. Welcome.
We had a blast at the go-kart. If anybody has a highlight other than Adam being amazing,
Is that the goat?
Yeah.
the one.
that's number 249 or whatever.
Yes.
Favorite goat.
It had a number, and that was like the team goat. Spaghetti dinner also happened. There's one interactor here. and she's eating right now. So never mind, I guess we'll.
It went really well. Thank you all for your help. I don't know how much you made, but it went really well, and I was there the whole time. I only expected to be there for a couple hours. And there's lots of, all the auction items got sold, and we raised a lot of money.
Congratulations, you raised $2,327.
Wow.
I guess I'll give you this check this afternoon. Okay. They were fundraising for the end of Kairos.
What?
Oh,
What do I
the
know?
Redwood Action Community, or Rotary Action Community Against Slavery.
Yes.
Raucous. More raucous. We also celebrated Trillium and Cal Poly's inauguration of our time together. There were 6 projects with community service. This was my personal favorite. They made a solar water heating system that, like, I guess before they were just using a Kool-Aid, cold water to wash their hands during COVID. And so these kids made a solar heated system that now they have warm water they can manage, which was just brutal.
Yeah, there's a nice sink there too. I mean, the
They
water
bought a
runs into a
sink.
sink right there. It's really cool.
And there's a bench, there's a hopscotch game that involves shapes.
You have to do that before you wash your hands or after?
During.
Station too.
And there's a busy board that teaches them how to, these elementary school kids, how to use locks, so they're prepared for junior high when they have to use lockers, so they can work on that instead of tearing, while they're waiting for lunch, instead of tearing up the board, which was one teacher's particular problem. And I guess this is maybe AJ's time to talk about what happened at the meeting on Wednesday.
So we have our community service meeting every third Wednesday of the month. Right. And so we went over those library boxes, and we do have probably half a dozen that we'll want to find homes for. And then I think we were going to try to see if you were going to willing to spur us to get them done before the end of your year, so that maybe you could judge a contest of whose box looks the
Yes.
best.
All right.
And then we can have some photos for you of these finalized boxes before the end of the year, and put them into action
Okay.
with some books. And so I'm sure we'll start collecting books now that we have some finished boxes, so that we can put those out in the community. Let's see, we have June 3rd is a really busy volunteer day. So in the morning, if you have some time, you help clean up. We have our, I'll set up a sign-up genius to get our Adopt a Highway cleaned up and interact. Please feel free to come out. We have that parklet that we can pull some weeds with.
You don't have to be 16 anymore.
You get on, and then we have this we have a kite festival, but that's this week.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow and
And Sunday. I'll resend a sign-up genius if you want to help out at the kite festival. Basically, I'm taking a lunch or a hat. Yeah. That's all about that.
And then there's a pretty monster sign-up genius for opportunities to help Black people. They're having their launch party on the 3rd, and then the Juneteenth later in the month in Eureka. But this one's right around the corner, and we definitely need quite a few volunteers. Like John, thank you for signing up. I think saw one other person, but and then let's see what else? There was another sign. Oh yeah, there was a walkathon.
Oh, right. For Food for People.
Wait, I missed that one. What's going on?
Is that this Saturday?
It's on the 3rd.
Oh, it's also on the 3rd.
So keep busy on the 3rd. It's at the marsh, at the Arcata Marsh, there's a second walk.
I did that last year.
So,
Huh.
a lot of
All right.
volunteer opportunities.
So we have another busy, like the 29th, where you can spend your whole day doing Rotary. All right, Fairy Festival, Shoshana.
It's happening, and we're so excited on June 4th. And thank you so much to Sunrise Kid Rotary for being a sponsor. And we just got our posters done, and there's a logo up there, just barely in time. We're very excited. Sunday, June 4th. So after all that stuff happening, I can't help but go because we're getting set up for the Fairy Festival. But that'll be out here, and it'll be it's very sparkly, fancy, organic installations, places to be and hang out. It's a different kind of plaza event that have lovely places for especially families to tuck in all over. And a lot of processions and music and aerial art and fire show in the evening. There's lots going on. But it could be a good recovery day after all the volunteering on a Saturday. Come and see something crazy and spectacular out here.
Are you still looking for helpers?
We really are, but I know everyone might be burnt out by all the things on Saturday. But we have things like lounges you can hang out in. If you're interested in helping out, we have a sign-up genius too, because everyone's got fun sign-up geniuses, so just let me know. Be a part of that. Thank you.
And then I sort of wanted to celebrate Howard here, so this is great. This man drove our rural community service district matching grant from start to finish. It's officially been approved. We've got the money, we spent the money. Yay, Cambodia. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, just thanks everybody for supporting these projects. They're great projects, and we'll certainly keep you informed when we have them going. Give you updates.
He spent a lot of time putting this together and making it go, so.
Dotting all the T's, crossing the I's, making sure there are pictures and it's well documented.
I'm retired.
And then,
all right. Can we talk about the auction next week first?
Sure.
Okay. Next week, Terry and Marty are going to be gone, but we're going to be doing the final Friday auction. I'm going to be the auctioneer. And one of the big things in the auction next week is the vacation time that Scott and Robin have donated to somebody who's going to bid on it. I have had the fortune to spend time over at their place in Kihei. And I just want to say, if anybody is considering making a bid on this and making this an event or whatever, I'm not sure what the time parameters are this year or sometime this fall or whatever. But I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have about what that would be like and what you should do and what to expect. Scott and Robin are very busy over there. They just tend to, you will get up and you'll see Robin way out on her stand-up paddleboard in the ocean. And Scott puttering around, and then they all go work out or whatever. So if you're just wondering what it's like to be around their house and that kind of thing, and have any questions about how you would structure your stay if you were to go, I'd be happy. Just contact me.
Is sleeping in extra?
I'm sorry?
Does it cost more to sleep in?
No, not at all. And there's a beautiful espresso machine thing that you'll get to love before you leave. So anyway, yeah, it is a great place. So if you're considering that and you want to talk to me about it or whatever, don't hesitate to reach out. So.
And is that a trip for 4?
A trip for 2.
Oh, it's for 2, okay.
As I understand.
Well, 2 couples is the option.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So,
Ooh. Okay.
or 4 people who like to
Who likes to come?
Yeah.
chat.
Lots of things to do, of course. Yeah.
The bid has to be twice as high for.
And what's the beach situation?
The beach situation is walk about 100 feet, put your chair there, and look at it. It overlooks the beach in Kihei. You can look out and see Molokini over here, and then the windmills over here, up to Lahaina, thank you. Very convenient, quick from the airport, they'll pick you up. It's very cool. I have been sitting there, and when you know somebody's coming in and the plane comes in and does that big circle over Kihei to come back and land in Kahului, it's time to get in the car and go pick them up. Okay, the other thing that I have a pleasure doing is reintroducing some very good friends of mine. First of all, Kate Martin has been a friend of mine for a long, long time. She was a house painter, and I sold house paint. And so we got to know each other a long time ago, and we have had a long friendship. She's painted my house, I've painted her house. We went rafting together over the years. If you kind of recognize her, she used to own the Logger Flower in Blue Lake, but she doesn't anymore. Much. She always wanted to do that, and then she did it, and then she goes, "Why did I do this?" The other person is her daughter, Gillen. Gillen graduated from Arcata High School, where, among other things, she starred on the volleyball team. At the time, she spent some time with Susan and I at our house. And and at that point, my wife named her Gigi, which now she's like, oh my God, I just knew something was going to happen. She then went to Brown University, where she double majored, and then during the summers in college, she took internships with Congressman Jared Huffman's office in Capitol Hill and 2 other international development nonprofits in Washington and New York. Following her graduation, Gillen came back to Humboldt to serve the city of Arcata on a fellowship which returns recent graduates to their hometown local governments. She did that for 2 years, and then when her fellowship ended, she worked at the Arcata Community Development Department. She currently operates the city's tenant-based rental assistance program, and which supports seniors and unhoused families and individuals, and works on grant writing, reporting, and long-range planning. Her experience with the city, nearly 4 years, has shown her the power held within local communities and reignited her love with her home. She has been accepted to Sciences Po. Sciences Po. In Paris, France, a program, and this is just mind-boggling, that admits 20 students worldwide annually. She hopes to keep her career focused on the role and responsibility of governments in addressing current crises faced both internationally and locally. When she is finished with that, she plans to return home and serve her local community again. So I was thrilled this week when our board of directors decided that she would receive a $5,000 scholarship to attend Sciences Po. So anyway, congratulations. I know you're going to return to us. I know you will be in this room with us again, and it's just a thrill to present you with this check for $5,000. Gillen, why don't you come on up?
Woo!
Gigi from Paris. Oh, well, let me. No, I want to do that. Just
Let's hide it.
So it goes in the newspaper, his name's first.
I think I got one.
Okay, there you are.
Thank you.
Yes. Tell us.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you so much. It means a lot in terms of the tuition I'm staring down. It's a huge chunk, and I couldn't be more appreciative, but it also just means a lot to feel like having left and come back, and now leaving again, that I'm just leaving with support and love from this community that it's been my absolute honor to serve over the last 4 years. So, thank you. Thank you. And it's wonderful working with Susan, and I'm really, really sad to leave the community development department.
And I'm really, really sad.
These are your Rotary dollars at work.
Yes.
Thank you for working so hard to fundraise. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's an investment.
It is.
And we see returns immediately. Great returns. Is there a raffle ready?
Oh, heck yeah.
He's been waiting.
It's ready and waiting. We're up to $70 in the
Grand prize. We're up to $70 in the grand prize thing. And bear with me a second.
You're doing great, Mom.
I don't know if there's any deal wants to give Romy the week off, but it's here. All righty. Miriam, could you grab a message right here for me? All right. It's reading off. All right. 785013.
How they vote?
No, I have 85,013.
Say it.
785013. All right. And attention rising. Let's draw another one then.
No, wait, 785, that's me. You know what, you said 75.
See,
What kind of banker are you? I can't understand your numbers.
Oh, that kind of thing. Right, that's supposed to be.
Ah, it's the winner.
75. Holy smokes. Well, after that, everything's going to
I
be
should come to our
anticlimactic.
meeting.
Grab a ticket for me. We'll draw one for somebody else. No. We've got one more.
Wait, she put hers back in?
I put mine back in because I don't follow directions. It's 784985.
Here it is right here.
All right.
Lucky ticket.
78, what was it? 784?
784985.
Yes, please check.
Oh, one? Oh, how nice. All right. Okay.
Oh. There's no blue ball in there, Bob, just so you know. No, he's got it right in his hand.
Sorry, yeah.
All right, there you go.
$5. All right, Bob. See?
Is Romy watching?
All right, thanks everybody. So we reset the jackpot.
We miss you, Romy.
Exactly, just pull it off. We'll just give it $5.
All that for this.
I'm pleased to introduce Marnie Atkins. I've had the pleasure of working with her on the Malel Dunes way back when, and now she's doing amazing things with the new cultural center, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself and what she's up to. So welcome, Marnie.
Gutzwalak. Ritnak Marnie Atkins, Yil Sulatalak, Yil Wiyot, Jarujiji Dadadalich. My name is Marnie Atkins. I'm a Wiyot person. I'm a Sulatalak person or a Sulatalak speaker. More of a learner, but I do speak. And I'm from what is now known as Eureka. Jarujiji is not a direct translation of Eureka. It actually means a place to sit and rest. So if you imagine my ancestors, going from, North Bay to South Bay or vice versa, it was a nice place for them to sit, and rest their arms after canoeing. So they pull in the canoe and just sit and rest, and they're able to look at the island and, just have a respite. I'm the cultural department director for the Wiyot Tribe, and I oversee programs such as our Sulatlak learning program, so our language program. We have a tribal linguist in that program, and we have a language assistant in that program, and they're doing super cool, fantastic things. We recently received a 3-year grant through the Administration for Native Americans to develop curriculum that will eventually end up in Loleta Elementary. That's where a lot of our children go. But eventually, who knows where it might end up. And so we're very excited about that. There's whispers and murmurs that it could end up at CR. So that would then qualify as a language requirement. It would
qualify for that, so fingers crossed. But it was a game changer for us because for probably, gosh, 15 years or so, we've been doing it sort of ourselves, on a shoestring budget, winging a prayer. We've been kind of reclaiming our language over all these years, and to have that kind of funding is just, honestly, it's a game changer because we can now, we have resources, we have access to resources, we have humans, that have this capacity to develop curriculum, and then we're going to do some teacher training and things like that. So that's very exciting. I also oversee the Daguru Louwi Cultural Center, and that is the Wiyot Tribe's Cultural Center in Old Town Eureka. We're right next to the gazebo. Come see us. Big brown building. It used to be Restoration Hardware. Who? Okay. Yeah, look at, I know. Everybody's like, yep, you've been here a while if you know where it's at. Some of the newer folks might remember it as Sassafras, which was a children's clothing and toy store. So maybe if you're younger, if you have grandchildren, you might remember it for that too. That's where we are. The tribe wrote a grant years ago to actually build our own cultural center, but when we started looking into the costs, it's very expensive. So we ended up using the Housing and Urban Development Grant to purchase that space. So we actually own that space and then a little office suite upstairs, which is amazing. So we signed on the dotted line in September 2020. I was at that time the manager of the cultural center, and yet to be named at that time. And I just need to share with you all that the best, most perfect time to buy an old building that needs to be fixed up is during a pandemic. Just so you know, when your next one we have, that's when you fix up your old building. My goodness, so it took us a proper year to really kind of finish up, honestly. If I lacked resources, like timber, lumber or something, or paint, I didn't have the people, or, if I had the people, but I didn't have the supplies. It was just, anyway, but we made it through. And I learned a lot about patience and perseverance and project management. So we moved in October 2021, and then we kind of opened quietly around solstice in December 2021. And we've had some smatterings of openings and closings because it was just me, and as the cultural center manager, we worked with my schedule, so it wasn't a consistent, we're going to be open Tuesday through Saturday from, it was like, oh, look ahead to the next week. We're going to be open these days. So but now I have an employee, woohoo! And I know we're like, whoop. And I hope, she's fantastic. She's just such an awesome human. And I'm super lucky, and I hope she stays, right? I'm like, I don't want to put too much on her. You know what I mean? It's like, let's sneak up on her a little bit and give her a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But she is absolutely fantastic, and I'm super excited that she's there. And so she will keep us open more frequently. And right now, our days are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 12 to 5. And we are hiring one more person, and I think if I can get a good teammate, a good team in that cultural center, who knows what in the heck we can do. We're already talking about programming. We have been the whole time, but who knows what we'll develop. But it's always of course programming for Wiyot tribal citizens and Wiyot descendants. But also we want to do programming for non-Wiyot people. We want engagement and education. That's one of the purposes of the cultural center. So keep an eye out for us. We'll be having programming talks, things like that, to come in and just listen and learn. And other than that, the cultural department, holy smokes, we're very busy. It's basically a staff of me, because the other two belong to the language program, and then the other person belongs to the cultural center. So the cultural department, hi. So we do a lot of projects. Right now we're working on different signage projects and things like that. We're very busy. But it's great because it's all about community engagement and outreach, education. Not a lot of folks maybe know about Wiyot history and culture and language, and so that's where we come in to try to share that information and ask questions. So that's where I'm going to stop now. And I'm going to say, what do you got for me? Do you have any questions? Or yeah.
I do have a question. So as you transition, hopefully, to having the Wiyot language as part of the program at CR, as meeting one of the requirements, do you know other colleges that have indigenous languages as their as part of their meeting that requirement?
Right, yeah. Well, currently CR does for Hoopa and Yurok.
Oh.
So yeah, you can take those classes right now. Especially if you were just sort of starting out in your educational journey and you needed to complete that language requirement, boom, there you go. You've got 2 local languages at CR that you can absolutely learn and qualifies for your graduation. Then we've got, I used to go to University of Oregon, so up there they have Ichishkin, which is a language of sort of Washington and sort of northeastern Oregon. That's being taught there. Other than that, I don't know, but I know that there are.
Well,
yeah.
That's more than I knew. So
okay.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Feel free, check it out and enroll. I think it's cool and that
Who were
you
the
can go.
keepers before this? Who keeps the language alive? How do you get it into curriculum?
Yeah. Well, up until now, we've been mostly doing community language classes. So our curriculum was sort of built on the fly, actually that's not true, built to requests from the community, from the tribal community. So a lot of folks would come in and say, I want to learn a song, or I want to make a song, or I want to learn how to pray, or that kind of thing. So a lot of our work was helping them to make those songs or prayers. Folks love place names, which I think is cool too, but I guess, I don't, I kind of also don't understand why we're like that. I don't know, do you all like learning new place names or anything? I'm surrounded by folks who are like, yeah, I want to know what that place name is. And I often, yeah, you do?
Yeah. She wants to, say about, besides Entrepreneurs Club, Loleta and I also run Language Exchange Club here in Arcata. And we meet every first and second Fridays of the month at La Familia Cafe. And we have people regularly attend from, traveling from all over the world, sharing their cultures and language. And we would absolutely love to have, someone either or yourself attend and share some Wiyot culture and language.
I would
really amazing.
I got you, we'll talk. I would love that. Yeah, I would love that. So that's kind of where our needs were. And then plus just sort of teaching, kids love animals. So we would teach, animals. So it's really been sort of a community-driven effort until recently when we got this funding where we're like, okay, now we're going to, collate and, gather together everything and put it in sort of order that the youth at a Loleta Elementary could actually, it doesn't, California state standards, so it meets those sort of language requirements for state standards, so it doesn't detract. It's not a waste of time, because some people are like, well, why are you teaching this language right now? It's just a waste of time. Doesn't qualify for the state standards. Don't worry, we got you. So we do that kind of thing too, you know what I mean? Because we don't want, of course, to hold back our youth, but we want to enrich and lift up. You know, one thing, it's absolutely proven that the more a young person knows of their language and culture and heritage, they are less likely to, you know, to have like those stress factors like ACEs. They're less likely, they're more resilient because they know who they are and they know what they're supposed to do in the world. And that's what our language shares, is it has in it sort of this world view. It has science in it, it has math in it, it has descriptors of places in it and what happens there. So, you know, that kind of thing is very important because it centers you in who you are and your place. So then you can go out into the world and be sort of this little person who grows up to a big person and can feel confident in themselves. Yeah. So that was a lot about language. Yeah, of course, that was a lot. We went down the rabbit hole on that one.
That's great.
Is there anything? Yeah, please.
How has the language been held over the years? That is, how have you managed to continue to speak it and understand it?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. It came, you know, our ancestors made very difficult decisions about not transferring language, not teaching it. So, because that was a safety mechanism, that if you don't teach language, if you don't teach cultural practices, then you're less likely to get hurt by Euro-American settlers. So that was a really pointed, right? But in the early 1900s, to kind of, you know, maybe the 30s and 40s, right in there, there's this idea of salvage ethnography or salvage linguistics. And so a lot of ethnographers, anthropologists, linguists were like, oh no, all the Indians are gonna die off. They're all gonna be dead here pretty soon. Not dead yet. Got a couple more years. But, so they all went out, right, and wrote and gathered all this data, language, culture, whatever, all that. And then they went home and they wrote their dissertations. So these dissertations, for example, one was written in the 1920s by Gladys Reichard, and we've got her dissertation. Then Carl Teeter came along in around the 40s, 50s, and also documented. So a lot of written and recorded materials were held, as well as families holding language knowledge within their homes, kind of discreetly. And through those discrete efforts and working together as a community, and then the written and recorded materials, we've been able to reclaim these languages. Now that's why we need a tribal linguist. That's why we need a linguist, because I'll look at it and what are these people talking about? You know, like some of these linguists would just like write foofy fancy words to describe some new thing, which really isn't a new grammar thing or a new semantic thing, right? They're trying to get their PhD. So they make it difficult. I'm just like, just talk to me plain. Just talk. So we need, you know, this special linguist who's trained to decipher the linguist's information. So that's how we've done it, is sort of through family, through small community efforts, sort of discreetly, that has carried on over the years. And then as new information such as these dissertations, you know, these grammars, these concordances, these recordings have come to light, we now also use them to reclaim. And so I have a lot of wonderful recordings of several of my elder ancestors who were speakers and who have since passed on, but it's awesome to be able to hear them speak, you know, yeah.
And that's available on the website, correct?
Some of it is, yeah. If you go to our website, wiyot.us, and look for language, we have a lot of recordings on there, and we share, you know, we always point teachers like to go and go there, especially with the animals. We use QR codes extensively. Where are we? Where's the health sport? Right over here, right? Oh, is it this one? We have, okay, I'm gonna take your word for that. So we worked with the city of Arcata to a couple years ago for the Heritage Month. I think it was May. And we worked with Janet Eidsness, we worked with Lineca Butler, who's the tribe's linguist, and I developed sort of a narrative about that space because it used to hold a huge village site. And so if you go there and scan a little QR code, which apparently is on some little signage there, you can hear, you know, we put together a narrative and then we introduced a lot of language that you can go and listen to as well. I don't know if, has anybody done that? Has anybody okay, everybody's homework is to by Monday, it's due Monday, to go and do that.
All right, there's a quiz next Friday.
Yeah, there's a quiz next Friday. I'll be back.
So I grew up in Fortuna, and so when I was growing up, there was the Rotary Rancheria and the Table Bluff Rancheria, but you've reclaimed the Wiyot as a tribe. What was that process, and when did that happen?
Yeah, so Table Bluff Reservation is a place.
Okay.
Wiyot Tribe has always been Wiyot Tribe. Right. But usually how it was said was Wiyot Tribe dash Table Bluff Reservation or vice versa. I don't know, because I know there's a sign. So it's just Table Bluff Reservation is the reservation that holds the tribal government, and of course it has some homes there and things like that. The Bear River Band of Ronerville Rancheria is across the highway, and that is where their tribal government is, and some homes, and their businesses, that kind of thing. Does that?
Well, yeah, I just, because I've done some work with tribes, it was like they weren't federally recognized for a period of time, and they had to regain their federal recognition as a tribe.
Yes.
And that was probably, I don't know, a while ago, but not all that long ago.
It was around, there was a huge swath of unrecognizing tribes. The federal government went through and just said, you've been assimilated, you no longer, yeah, right, you're no longer Wiyot, you're no longer Bear River, whoever. They basically unrecognized a whole bunch of folks.
And this was hundreds of years ago, right?
No, this was just like, yeah, right, yeah, hundreds of years ago. This was around the 40s, I think it was. And so we had to sue the federal government to re-recognize us because we were still here. We still practiced, we still did our, everything. We were still on our homelands. So we had to sue and then go into the, court system and all this, and then we finally were re-recognized. Thank goodness. Or else I wouldn't have ice cubes. So if I hadn't been discovered, where would I'd be lost in the wilderness without ice cubes. Yeah, exactly. It's a disservice to me.
We laugh, but it's sad.
I know. I mean, the whole idea of just discovery, right? Yeah. It's just, yeah. I like to actually share that if you look at sort of local history where Euro-American settlers were kind of coming across, and they kind of journal, or write their diaries, and they'll say like, oh, it's just this wilderness, everything is wild and open and free, and it looks, so to me a wilderness is just, it's wild and you can't, there's no care in it, right? But then in like the next paragraph or a couple down, the oak groves were so well manicured. Who did that? We did that, right? We cared for the oak groves so that they wouldn't get diseases and we could eat the acorns and, all the hazelnut bushes, they're just growing everywhere and I can't even believe it. Yeah, we did that too. So, it's funny how we like have these blinders on that when we have something in our minds that it's a wilderness or it's unoccupied and it's there open and free to claim, and that there's no people there, but there's obviously absolute evidence all around the place that people are there. I don't understand that, so I'll ponder that probably forever. How are we on time? Yeah, are we at time?
Ish, we got one more?
I've answered everything. Yeah, everything's answered. What was that? Acorns, and then we'll be back. Okay, that sounds good.
Oh, Ian?
If you have an opportunity, this comes from the district. Who likes camping?
No.
Who likes road trips? Just let's take it down a notch. Road trips. Who likes driving vans, Papa? Who likes youth exchange kids?
Okay.
Oh, come on. So there's a very short window of opportunity to apply to be a chaperone/guide driver. June 17th through July 2nd, that's 15 days, 14 nights, with all the inbound exchange students from our district and several other districts to tour the Western Safari Tour and Camp. They go to most of California, Arizona, Nevada, beaches, shopping, Universal Studios, Disneyland, Grand Canyon, Yosemite, the whole Western states package. So if you have any inkling of taking a couple weeks off, there's a stipend. It's like $599. I'm sure there's a tax reason for that. Let me know this weekend and I'll get you set up to apply. So, here you go. June 17th through July 2nd.
This year, and I have a fundraiser this Sunday. I'm doing a pancake breakfast with silent auction, and I would love if people could come and help me out with my fundraising. So I have little reminders and.
Where is it?
It's at St. Albans in Sunnybury from 9 to 10 this Sunday. There will be pancakes, big salad, juice, coffee, sausage, and then almost all of the auction items are handmade. So I baked a cake and a pie, and then my grandma has made an Afghan, some wall hangings, and there's some artwork things from somebody who goes to my church.
And how much is it?
It's $5 for children and $7 for adults.
Will you take donations? How do we pay you?
You can do cash or check. If you can pay then. And these are just reminders. So you have all the information. And if you other people come yourself and yeah, but they'll do cash or somebody experience cash at the door.
Well, we want to help. Just fill us out.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Take pictures if you run out. If they don't all make it, take a picture and then send out your emails and texts. Yes.
So it's the Zoom.
All right, anything else? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Oh, Kyra?
Are we gonna do the drawing meeting?
Not yet.
Okay. Next week?
Yeah.
Well, I had a quick thing on vocational. I wanted to thank Bob for his help with Jim Ritter and CR, Craig Newman and Chris Hemphill for volunteering their time. So it was amazing. They wrapped up. So this program, hopefully, I got to interact with one of the kids, and came up, did a job shadow up at Cal Poly. He was interested in IT work. And so it seemed like a really great group of kids, and thank you for your time and helping out with vocational. It was tremendous, so thank you.
Thank you for all of the information you gave me. It didn't make it to the slide, but the students that participated were touched and excited to be a part of a community. They didn't even know they needed the resources or how to even articulate what they needed until you presented it to them. So Craig and Chris, thank you. and Jeff, thank you. And keep an eye out, because next year, or we tried this year, it didn't happen, but we have vocational scholarships that are eventually gonna become a thing.
Yes. So we will have 2 vocational scholarships. I'm just looking for kids that are being recommended by their teachers that have classes that they need to take for vocational careers. So there are 2 scholarships that will be available.
Sweet. All right. Bob says sweet, so we're done.
Sweet.